Hello and welcome to Tennessee Valley this morning on WTMB. Glad you are with us on this middle of the week Wednesday. Joe and Kim Palo with you as we are each and every Wednesday morning.
For Hump Day? You've stopped calling it Hump Day.
I have, but you know what I haven't stopped saying like I do every Wednesday? Take your umbrella with you today. 40% chance of thunder showers.
Yeah, I'm thinking you could just do away with the weather, Joe. I mean, it just doesn't seem to be your forte.
It rains every Wednesday that we do the show.
Well, I know, but sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. Well, I'm just saying that I'm not sure that your percentages are...
Well, Kim, listen, with all of my years of meteorological school...
Right, I know, honey.
I know,
but you're so much better at entertaining than you are
at weather?
Informing.
Well, yeah, but so do take your umbrella with you, and remember to drive carefully today because, you know, wet roads mean slow down. We've got a great show for you today.
We do.
We have Jim Burleson from First Baptist Church. We're going to talk about He's Alive, the Easter program that they're putting on this weekend.
Jim
Easter
is
Sunday.
the associate music director there.
Yes, he is.
At that beautiful new complex.
Oh, it's unbelievable. If you haven't been to First Baptist, the new campus out there, you need to check it out.
That's right.
But the service times for the He's Alive program, I should say, at First Baptist will be Friday night at 7 o'clock, Saturday at 5 and 7. Is that true, Jim? And then, of course, Sunday at 8:30. 10 and then 11:30 a.m. So you'll be able to see it at First Baptist, and if you don't get a chance to get out there, or if you do go out there and you'd like to see it on television, we're going to be airing it starting Sunday, and we're going to air it all through next week, so you'll get to see it in its entirety. I'll have the times for you here.
It's going to be a great production, and Jim's going to talk to us about that one.
He's going to talk to us about that. We also have Ron Moore, our Broward County resident historian, that'll tell us some history. And again, we always talk that if Ron doesn't really know what he's talking about, he's going to make something good up.
That's right. And it's always good, whether it's made up or true.
Right, true. We also have with us today Tracy Shellhouse
from New Hope Pregnancy.
New Hope Pregnancy Center. We'll talk about the New Hope Pregnancy Center.
They have a fundraiser coming up, and so we want to talk to them about that. It's their sweet celebration, and so we're going to talk to Tracy about that. Always glad when she comes on the program.
So Tracy will enlighten us about that fundraiser. But we do have a fundraiser that we want to talk to you about as well. And I'm going to hold this right here, my little cheat sheet. Boogie at the Barn, an Armed Forces Day celebration, a fundraising event for the Southeast Tennessee Veterans Home, which we are still getting. So for those of you that have heard rumor that
we're still running hard,
still right on target. 2014, I believe, is when they'll break ground. This fundraising event, Boogie at the Barn, is going to be Saturday, May the 19th at Pappy's Place. Pappy's Place is John Simmons' farm. Everybody knows where John Simmons' farm is, and it's now called Pappy's Place. It's going to be a great, great day of entertainment, family fun, food. Everything you can think about. Novelty booths, lots of excitement. Pre-sale tickets are $15 in advance, $20 at the gate. But what I've been saying is pay the extra $5 even in advance. It goes for a worthwhile cause. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to help out here.
Look at you spending everybody else's money.
Exactly. $20. Come on, $5 more, and it's a worthwhile cause. Not to mention, you're going to see some unbelievable entertainment. Gates open at noon. About 1 o'clock, the band Hard Boiled will be performing, which is a new band. About 3:30, you have Dexter Thomas Band. Everybody knows about Dexter Thomas. You've got the Armed Forces Day celebration at 5. 7 o'clock, JoJo Collins and the Collins Brothers Band. And headlining the entire show, Confederate Railroad will be performing as well.
We're not playing around.
We're not playing around, and neither is Grant Perkle. Now, Grant will not be cooking the food, so that means no botulism or anything like that. E. coli, nothing like that will happen because it's all good when Grant's not. And he said, don't worry, I'm not cooking. But lots of great fun, and again, food, and it's a family fun event. Boogie at the Barn, again, Saturday, May the 19th. Okay. So now we got that out of the way.
There you go.
Now, let me tell you that the broadcast air times of the First Baptist He's Alive celebration, we're going to broadcast this Sunday at 10:30, this coming Sunday, Easter Sunday. Also at 9:30 p.m. Then it will rebroadcast Monday evening at 7:30, Tuesday evening at 7:30, Wednesday at 6 p.m., Saturday morning, next Saturday, 11 a.m. and 2 p.m., and then next Sunday as well, the 15th at 10:30 a.m. So you'll get to see it in its entirety if you miss it. Or if you did see it, you get to see it again. right?
There you go.
Is everything copacetic?
I guess so,
good?
Joe. You got everything all put. You got everything
all in
all
order
your ducks
here.
are lining up.
Right.
You know where to be and where
Got my
everybody else
pen.
should be. You got your pen. I have my glasses that
You have
match
your
my
glasses,
shirt just
right.
in case
That is
you need it.
true.
Right?
That
See?
is true.
But Jennifer was right. She said now in case Joe needs glasses, you have them for him, and I don't have to scrounge around looking.
You don't. You've got them sitting right there.
I do.
And I'm so dressed down today, and you're so dressed up. You look very beautiful today, Kim.
Well, thank you, Joe.
I didn't tell you that earlier, so I could say it on the air.
And get more points.
And
right,
get
huh?
more points, but I'm just
Well,
kind
you
of
look
like...
very handsome in yellow today.
Well, thank you. This is kind of like the golfing attire. You know, we got the
Right.
Masters starting tomorrow.
Right, see?
And I'm excited about that.
I know
Tiger
you
Woods,
are.
hopefully, you know, he's looking pretty good.
He
and
is.
so who knows?
I'm a Mickelson fan, but he disappoints me. He just
Every
disappoints
tournament
me.
he's disappointing.
I know, and I'm like, Phil, don't do this to me again,
Well,
and again.
that's what happens,
So,
you
but
know.
when he comes through, he cries, I cry, we all cry.
Everybody cries. But yeah, so we got the Masters starting, so that ought to be exciting as well. So it's going to be a big weekend, and we're excited. We're ready for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I
And
mean,
don't wanna
not to
say
mention, it's Easter.
it is Easter.
I mean, I know it's the Masters.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But, you know, just the resurrection
Yeah,
of our
just the
Lord and
resurrection of
Savior is,
Christ.
you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the Masters are going on.
All right. Well, and what a great segue. The Master of Masters.
Right, the Master of
Easter,
Masters.
Sunday.
The
Don't
Master.
forget to go to church. Pick a church. Go to church. If you have a home church,
That's
go
right,
there.
and
It's Easter
celebrate.
Sunday. But yeah, so we've got a great show for you. We're going to be back with Jim Burleson of First Baptist right after our commercial break. Thank you for being with us on this Wednesday morning, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Have you ever wished you'd seen a wonderful music presentation, listened to wonderful music about He's Alive? You've got that opportunity right here on WTNB starting this Sunday morning. Those air times are Sunday from 10:30 till noon, Sunday evening from 9:30 to 11 p.m., and then we're going to follow that up Monday and Tuesday evenings at 7:30 to 9 p.m. and Wednesday evening at 6 p.m.
Discover great local programming right here on WTNB East Tennessee Television. Tune in weekday mornings at 6:30 a.m. for Tennessee Valley This Morning to find out what's going on in your local area. Watch East Tennessee Shopper with Joe and Kim Palo live every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Get caught up in all the latest sports action. Watch In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson. Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. with replays at midnight. All this and more on WTNB East Tennessee Television.
Hyperbaric Services of East Tennessee is now open in Cleveland. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is an incredible treatment, clinically tested for a variety of physical and neurologic conditions, including autism, migraine headaches, even sprains and injuries. It is a simple, safe, and painless process that raises a patient's oxygen level, providing an array of health benefits. So whether you're dealing with a weekend sports injury, chronic condition, or looking for anti-aging, you owe it to yourself to explore what Hyperbaric Services can do for you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Ford, board certified in anti-aging medicine and pain management. Have you had recent decrease in energy, lack of sex drive, feel moody, grumpy, or sad? If so, you may have low testosterone and be a candidate for bioidentical hormone replacement. Listen to what two of my patients have to say.
Before I came to the Ford Clinic, I had to have a nap every day.
When I got off work, I'd lay around, really didn't want to do much and felt real lazy.
I've noticed since I had the testosterone implant that I can go a good 8 hours doing the things I enjoy doing.
I had it done, took about 25, 30 minutes, 5 months, and I'm doing good. My stomach, my muscles, they've completely changed. My fat level has dropped. Get to go out and run, exercise with my son. My muscles are just getting stronger.
If you'd like to change your life, please call me at Ford Center for Pain Management and Anti-Aging Medicine at 423-400-9115.
It's a very simple process, and it's well worth it.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley This Morning. Again, Joe and Kim Palo with you, middle of the week Wednesday. We are now joined by Jim Burleson, who is the Associate Minister of Music and Worship At First Baptist Church. See, I got that right.
Yeah, you did. Look
Great
at you
church.
being all title
Yeah,
knowing.
see,
knowing
I mean, got it all right here.
Yeah, look at that.
But a great church, and again, a wonderful, wonderful campus. Jim, thank you for being with us
My privilege. Thank you.
today. Let's talk about He's Alive and the music program you guys are putting on for Easter. I know you're
It's a
excited.
big
You've been
production, I
practicing
think,
for a
that
while.
you guys are doing, huh?
We really are. It's a privilege to present this to the community, and we're thankful to you and Kim for publicizing this for us. But this features our 130 voice choir and then 45-piece orchestra. Also, there'll be drama. We have a dance ministry, a lot of special effects, a lot of media. It's a production in every sense of the word. A lot of people involved, probably a couple of hundred people or more, totally involved in the presentation. And we're excited, as I said, to share this with our community. We're expecting anywhere from 5,000 to 6,000 people to attend.
Wow.
Man.
Wow. Now, how big, I have not been out to the new campus at all. How big is that auditorium? How many people can that auditorium seat?
It's not as large as you might think.
Okay.
It seats about 1,400. Maybe
Okay.
if we really squeeze some chairs in, we could get close to 1,500. But we have 3 morning services. In fact, we just added a 4th service.
Oh, that's great.
And we average about 3,400 in attendance on Sundays.
Oh, wow, that's great. That's great. And that still keeps that intimate feeling of a
Right.
hometown church, you
Yeah,
know,
the
in a
desire was
sense.
not to build
Right.
too big of an auditorium where you had this massive, you know, as you said, inability to connect.
Right.
And of course, the real way that you connect with people in a church environment, as you know, is in a small group
Small
setting.
groups,
And so we
groups,
foster
right.
those greatly. But in the worship time, we also try to provide an intimate experience together. And the Lord's just really blessing. The church has grown, averaging anywhere from 500 to 600 more in attendance in just the 18 months that we've been at the new campus than when we were downtown.
Wow.
And there are other factors involved in that. It's much more accessible, being there right there on Paul
Sure.
Parkway. The
parking.
parking is a lot
Parking
better,
is a-
right?
yes.
Access and egress is so much better, and so it's worked out really well. But God's really blessing.
And probably, I would say, Pastor Lockerman has a little bit of a reason for that too, possibly.
The teaching is phenomenal. Anybody at First Baptist will tell you that.
Yes.
He can pack more. He can say more
can
in
say
30
more.
minutes than anybody I've ever seen, and that's about the typical length of his
You know,
messages.
and most ministers, and my dad was one, so I can say this, is that they say a lot of, you know, they don't want to get in too in depth because they got to save something for the next time, the next Sunday.
Right.
But to tell you a lot all in one sermon is really big.
Well, he is incredible ability. He has an incredible ability to communicate,
Yes, he does.
to relate to all ages. It's amazing the
Absolutely.
age diversity in our church, and we're just thankful for his teaching ministry, no doubt.
Well, what about, Joe, I'm sorry, I was just
No,
going to
go
ask
ahead,
you
go
about
ahead.
the orchestra. I mean, I did not realize that you had that many pieces in an orchestra there. Tell us a little bit about how that got started. I mean, I'm sure it's been going on for a while, but it seems like has it grown lately?
Right. Well, we average probably anywhere from 25 to 28 on a weekly
Okay.
basis, and we're bringing in some extra players for this production, some
Okay.
other string players, but it'll be a full orchestra sound that's it's always exciting to sing and to be a part of that in our choir, and they always talk about the thrill of being accompanied by this great
Sure.
orchestra.
Right.
Sure, yeah. There's nothing but I just love church musicals. You know, I was brought up in church, and I was brought up from Easter cantatas and the musicals at Christmas, and that is one of the most to be involved with, you know, to be a part of, but also to participate as an audience member. I mean, they're just so. I guess it just feeds those emotions that you feel on those special times of year that that worshipers or believers, that they find dear to their heart. Those special occasions to be celebrated with music. I think that's beautiful.
And it's interesting that you mentioned audience participation, because the drama incorporates the audience, not so much in getting them to come forward or anything, but in weaving in and out, not to give too much away, but there's things that happen in the audience itself that cause it to, in my view, be very exciting and interactive, and I think I just really encourage people to come.
Yeah. Now, we want to tell everybody the service times for He's Alive is going to be Friday at 7 o'clock.
Correct.
Again, Saturday at 5 p.m. and 7 p.m.
Right.
And then Sunday morning, 3 services, 8:30, 10, and 11:30.
Right, and for First Baptist members watching this who may not remember, that's a slight variation in our Sunday morning schedule.
Okay.
Our services are typically at 8:30, 9:45, and 11:05.
Okay.
But it's 8:30, 10, and 11:30 because the program will last a little bit longer than our typical Sunday morning services. It'll be between an hour and 10, an hour and 15 minutes.
Right, which is, that's a wonderful time of service to be. It's not too long and it's not short.
Right.
It's just enough time to get the message out, and of course the music. Now, I know it's a big undertaking, I'm sure, in putting something like this together. How long have you folks been working on this program?
Well, we started as soon as we came back from our Christmas break, because we're so grateful for the way you publicized and ran the airings of Gloria. And that was so well received. We heard people talk about seeing it on your program, and we're thankful for that. And so as soon as we came back, within a couple of weeks, we started introducing some new songs. There's some of the same songs that we did last year at He's Alive, but we've got a lot of new music. And so it's, and we've also had a lot of new members. We've had about a 40% growth in the choir in the last year.
Wow.
So we've just had some exciting growth. And
Well, that was because of us too, when they saw you at Christmas.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I know that.
Christmas time, they were like, I want to be a part of that.
That's exactly
Now,
right.
how about you, Jim? Are you going to absolutely just go down Sunday afternoon, or are you just going to hit the bed and don't move for 2 or 3 days after it's over?
Well,
because I know
probably
you
more
guys, by the end of this week, you're going to be
probably more like Monday morning. You'll still be on adrenaline the rest of the day on Sunday, but Monday morning I'm sure it'll be a little hard to get out of bed, no doubt.
Say, I really meant to come in the office, but it's not going to happen today. Request that day off, because I know you've got all that adrenaline this weekend. Your hair's going to be on fire. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong, but it really won't go wrong. It'll all come out great in the end, and then you'll just be like...
Tyler Brinson, whom I'm so privileged to work with, he's our minister of music and worship, just does an extraordinary job. And this is his production. He has put this together along with our media staff, and it's his dream, his vision, and I'm just privileged to kind of help implement things and make it happen, but he's the one that really is the driving force. And the choir, the growth of the choir is a response to his leadership, his charisma, his just personality, and I just know that he'll do a great job. And so really, he's the one that's Monday morning is going to have trouble.
Well, that's
getting
all
up and
because
moving
of our
around.
youngest son.
Right. Tyler and our son Matthew grew up being big buddies together.
Is that right?
Yes,
They lived right around the block from us. And they had a wonderful, wonderful, I guess it was kind of a golden retriever, maybe. Was it?
No, she was...
Forget what it was. But her name was Brandy, and she visited everybody in the neighborhood. And it's just so strange. I say strange. It doesn't surprise me, really, that Tyler would go on to do what he's done. But... when you know somebody as a little boy, it's kind of hard to imagine.
Dirt in their pockets and frogs and rocks, and they won't wash their hands.
Right.
It's a whole different story now, but we're real proud
yes.
that he's out there, and can't wait to see the production on this weekend. I think, Joe, that we'll need to do that this weekend.
Yeah. It's going to be a great event, and let me give you the broadcast times on television. Now, we just gave you the service times, but on television it will be Sunday morning at 10:30. We'll be on TV. And then 9:30 p.m. Sunday, Monday at 7:30, Tuesday at 7:30 p.m., Wednesday at 6 p.m., next Saturday at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m., and then next Sunday, the 15th, at 10:30 a.m. as well. So you'll get to see it.
You got a week full, right? That's right.
You'll be able to see it one of those times.
You'll be singing by Wednesday.
That's right.
You'll
be joining the choir.
That's right. They'd have all the songs memorized if they watched it every time by then.
That's right. So Saturday afternoon, you can even get your little hairbrush.
Get your hairbrush and stand on the bed, look in the mirror.
Stand on the bed, and you can be singing with First Baptist.
But we do appreciate Logan Thompson, of course, for putting this together as well on television and letting us be able to air this. So it's going to be a great event. And again, make your way to one of those services to see it in person, because there's nothing like seeing something that in person than seeing it on television.
I mean, you should see this in person.
As great a job as our media crew does in capturing what's going on there, and they do.
Right.
There really is nothing like seeing it in person.
Right,
that's for
there's
sure.
not. That just the whole, I guess, just the energy inside and with everything that's going on there. There is something to be said. So guys, be sure to
and the sound also.
The sound, absolutely, you're right. Surround sound,
that's
and
right.
Just there, you're a part
it's
of
phenomenal. It really is.
And I had the opportunity to meet Stephen Beasley and Josh, that I think that does the directing, the media department. Two great guys. I mean, wonderful help. Just great spokespeople for First Baptist, and they just
and they know what they're doing,
They
Joe.
know what they're doing.
They
know what they're doing. Now,
a lot of people in our church don't even realize that Stephen has been written up in national trade magazines for audio and visual production. And I mean, a lot of our folks don't even know that because he didn't want us to make a big deal about it, but
Wow.
we were very excited as a staff. But you know, these are national publications that came and interviewed him and took pictures of our facility and things. It was quite an
And he's
honor.
a young man.
He's 25 years old.
Yeah. I
Goodness
mean,
mercy.
whew. And now let's talk about that, because another thing people probably don't realize when they see this production, obviously you've got the orchestra and you've got the choir, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes that put this together, from Stephen and Josh and some of the other folks.
Absolutely.
So about how many people do you have in production of the production?
Well, as I said earlier, there are probably over 400 people totally involved from the choir and the orchestra, the cast, the dancers, the media team. But just media team, I would say anywhere from 25 to 30.
Wow.
We've got cameramen, people in the doing lighting, doing sound, doing graphics, doing IMAG, which is, of course, you know, all of the different things that are going on. It's a major crew of people, and they're all so committed. Most of them volunteers who just give so sacrificially of their time. And this is on a weekly basis as well for our TV and radio productions. They come in, they're there before 7 o'clock every Sunday getting everything ready, and I'm just so impressed with their dedication and their spirit of humility and willingness to do whatever it takes.
Now, I think another wonderful thing for folks that may be traveling or maybe leaving early to go to a church somewhere for maybe the night service somewhere, you can also catch the program on Mix 104.1. I believe you guys broadcast is it your 10:30 service?
Yes.
Or 10 o'clock service, I should say, live?
No, actually, it's 11 o'clock, I believe.
11 o'clock,
yeah,
okay.
11:05.
So they'll be able to check it out on the radio as well if you're unable to see it on television or unable to be at the church. So again, Jim, give us the times, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, so folks can make their way out there.
Friday night at 7 p.m., Saturday night at 5 and 7 p.m., then Sunday morning at 8:30, 10, and 11:30.
11 o'clock.
So 6 presentations, all be the same. And I wanted to say also, I thought about this a moment ago, that Pastor Lockerman will be presenting a brief message at the end, 15 to 18 minutes, that just ties everything together. So there, for those that just feel like, you know, that there should be preaching on Sunday morning, on Easter Sunday morning, that certainly will meet that need, I believe, as well. And he will do a marvelous job, as he always does, of just tying all of the message of the production together, and then there'll be an opportunity for people to respond as the Lord might lead them to do so.
Terrific.
Oh, great.
Terrific.
Oh, great. Thank you so much
My
for
privilege,
being
and
with
thank
us.
you for
so
your
much.
help just presenting this to the community and making people aware of what we're doing. That's so invaluable, and we're so grateful.
Yes, sir. And we appreciate what you folks do for this community, First Baptist, and all that you do.
We appreciate you appreciating us.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you.
Thank you.
But in any case, Jim, thank you for being with us.
My privilege.
Okay, Jim Burleson of First Baptist. We're going to be back with Ron Moore and Tracy Shellhouse on the way right after this. Stay tuned.
Discover great local programming right here on WTMB East Tennessee Television. Tune in weekday mornings at 6:30 a.m. for Tennessee Valley This Morning to find out what's going on in your local area. Watch East Tennessee Shopper with Joe and Kim Palo live every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Get caught up in all the latest sports action. Watch In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson, Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. with replays at midnight. All this and more on WTMB East Tennessee Television.
Have you ever wished you'd seen a wonderful music presentation, listened to wonderful music about He's Alive? You've got that opportunity right here on WTNB starting this Sunday morning. Those air times are Sunday from 10:30 till noon, Sunday evening from 9:30 to 11 p.m., and then we're going to follow that up Monday and Tuesday evenings at 7:30 to 9 p.m. and Wednesday evening at 6 p.m.
Hello, I'm Dr. Gupta, and I'd like to introduce you to a valuable new healthcare solution here in Cleveland. Hyperbaric Services of East Tennessee is now open and accepting patients. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is an incredible treatment clinically tested for a variety of physical and neurologic conditions, including autism, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, migraine headaches, chronic fatigue syndrome, and even sports injuries and sprains. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is a simple, safe, and painless process that raises the patient's oxygen level in the body. This increased oxygen level in our tissues and organs boosts the body's natural healing abilities and allows our bodies to function at a higher level. We will be happy to work in cooperation with your regular physician. However, referral is not required for this treatment. So whether you're dealing with a weekend injury, a chronic medical condition, or looking for anti-aging solutions, you owe it to yourself to explore what hyperbaric oxygen treatment can do for you or your loved ones. I invite you to contact us today for some more information.
I'm Wes Robbins with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. When it comes to employee benefits, we've got you covered. Call me today for the best service and best solutions to your group health and employee benefits needs. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley this morning on WTMB. Joe and Kim Palo, now joined by Tracy Shellhouse of the New Hope Pregnancy Center here in Cleveland.
Yes.
Thank you for being with us, Tracy.
Thank you for having me.
And Tracy is going to talk to us about another fundraiser that is going to be going on April 17th, and it's going to be at First Baptist as well. So Tracy, let's talk about this fundraiser that you guys have coming up, if you will.
Great. We have the Sweet Celebration of Life coming up on April 17th, and it is a fundraiser, but it's also a friend raiser.
Okay.
We are wanting people to know about who we are and what we do and how we do it. And so we, this year, have made it a no admission event.
Okay.
And so we would love for people to come if they are for us, if they don't know anything about us, if they're just curious, to invite friends. And in the time that we're there, we're going to actually start with the program and have the reception afterwards. And we're going to make it a little bit, I don't want to say a shorter evening, but you're not committed to quite the chunk of time you would be for a banquet.
Okay. Right.
Our program should be over by at least 8 o'clock, and if you want to leave at 8:15 after you grab a cookie, if you want to stay and talk until 9 o'clock with us,
right.
That's great. And we're also making our staff, our board members, and our volunteers available at that time, because we've noticed after banquets, people have questions.
Right.
But you have to hurry up and get going. It's after 9 o'clock. And so what we're wanting to do is have the opportunity to socialize and to let people know what we're doing.
Now, for those of you that don't know, I know you have 2 locations here in
Yes.
Cleveland. You have 2 different centers, but what is your mission statement? I mean, what is New Hope Pregnancy, New Hope Pregnancy. What are they there for, and what are the services that you provide?
Well, New Hope Pregnancy Care Center exists to provide help, hope, and accurate information to those facing unplanned pregnancy. And so that's a very broad group of people, married, unmarried, young, older, doesn't matter. We minister to the ladies, fathers of the baby, sometimes family, maybe parents of a teen.
Yeah, right, yes.
And we have different services. We have professional quality pregnancy tests so that people can come in and confirm a pregnancy. And we offer what's called options counseling. And so we try very hard to be very loving, non-judgmental, and unconditional in our services. We are not there to manipulate or try to make anyone make a decision, but we do believe if you have good information, it's a lot easier to make a good decision.
Absolutely.
And so we talk with them about their options and anything that they are wanting to explore, we do sit down and talk with them about further. We are a pro-life agency. But we also believe in reconciliation and helping those that have maybe who are post-abortive and having a hard time dealing with it. We just recently wrapped up our HOPE group, which is healing of post-abortion emotions. Oh, wow. And so we want people to know too that if you have chosen to abort a pregnancy, that we're still a safe place to come, that we're going to love you no matter what. Right. And it's our hope that in a community sometimes where people feel that they're all alone, and they don't know where to turn, and they don't have support, that we will be that support.
That's wonderful.
It is. I love what we do.
Yes, that is really wonderful, because so many times those decisions are made out of panic and out of fear, and then afterwards, the other organization, it's kind of said and done with, and then you're kind of left to deal with the emotions. And so that's really great that you guys offer that compassionate, non-judgmental type of counseling there. And I also saw that you have learning opportunities opportunities
Yes.
in order to earn. You're not
Yes.
just going to hand out things,
That's
but
right.
in order, because you have learning opportunities
Yes.
to supply baby goods and also maternity wear. And
Absolutely. We have what's called the Earn While You Learn program. I really believe that you help someone by empowering and equipping, not enabling. I really think that there are times to give. I think the tornadoes in April of 2011 was a prime opportunity for us to see we just need to help our neighbors and bless them.
Right.
But then there's also times that we see, especially with what we have a long-term opportunity to partner with them during pregnancy and up until 1 year after the birth. And in that, what we ask is if you'll come in and do parenting education, parenting classes, learn about budgeting, finances, nursing, the effects of smoking or alcohol during pregnancy. We cover a lot of different facets. That in that, they're also, they receive mommy money. So there's an incentive. And so they're being equipped to parent, but they're also receiving the materials that they need in order to parent well. And we've just been so blessed. Recently, the Junior Auxiliary came and brought us 20 brand new cribs to be able to give our clients.
Wow.
They blessed us last year with cribs and new car seats. We have been so blessed by our community, our local churches, individual donors, and people that just drive by, see our sign, and actually come in and go, do you take baby clothes? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
And diapers and cribs and strollers. And what it does is we find that a lot of our clients are frightened and they feel like they're by themselves. And when they find out that they're not by themselves, they're no longer quite as frightened. And occasionally we actually have a client that gets to the graduation of Earn While You Learn and they say, can I just come back and visit?
Well, yeah.
That's terrific.
That tells us that we've done a good job, that they're not coming just for the material needs, they're coming for relationship.
Right.
And that's what we hope we are able to provide.
Now, let me ask you this question. If there is a young woman out there, maybe of teen years, if they want to come talk to you, if they're in a situation right now that they need to talk to you, do they need a parent to come with them, or can they just come by themselves?
They can come by themselves. As a matter of fact, we do have paperwork when people come through the door that they need to fill out so that we can identify them, but we are non-invasive. We want people to feel comfortable. We are there to meet their needs. We, even with minors and things like that, unless there is a situation of abuse or we see endangerment as far as suicidal tendencies, there's absolute confidentiality. The only time anything is ever reported is if we really feel that they are in danger and something that we legally have to report. And so what that does is that gives them this wonderful opportunity to come in and talk with an adult that's often very informed, and they are able to sit down and talk things out. And so often, something seems like such a big problem, and then you sit down and you talk with someone that's compassionate and loving, and once you say it out loud, it's not as bad as it seemed before, especially when that person says, okay, we can help you make a plan. Not to mention, about 62% of our pregnancy tests are negative.
Wow.
Yes. And
You get a lot of,
and so we have this wonderful opportunity too to talk with them about the decisions they're making.
Sure.
About over 80% of our clients are unmarried, they're single. 46% are teenagers. And so we have the opportunity to just, are you happy with the decisions you're making?
Right.
Is this really what you want to do? And talk with them about why they're making those decisions. And a lot of times, as not just talking with a young lady, but maybe a couple, they realize that, we really care about each other, but what we're doing is we are doing what we feel that everybody else is
supposed
doing.
to be doing.
And then they realize it's really not that cool when you start getting worried.
Right.
and you realize, it might not be worth that. And so it is just an amazing opportunity. And I love the negative test. You like to, see that relief.
Right, but at the same time, it's like, sit down.
Yes.
You got lucky.
Yes.
Look at me, you got lucky.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's like, hey, now's a great time to make some
Right,
big decisions.
That's right. Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, I can, see that because so many times, it's just human nature that when we're, oh God, I'll never do this again. I promise you this, that, and the other. Just get me out of trouble. Just this, that, and the other. And then fate or whatever does intervene, and there is a, negative, and then it's just like, and they can't get out of there fast enough and remake the decisions that they were making poorly to begin with.
And
So
there
that's a great opportunity.
There are a lot of deals made with God in our office.
Oh, I'm sure. I am so sure. If I was God, I would just, it's a good thing I'm not, because I would be like, I fell for that day before yesterday, you know?
And thankfully, some of them are followed through on.
Yes.
And, you know, we have the blessing, last week we had someone accept Christ.
Oh, wow.
And so that's wonderful. That's a life-changing and an eternity-changing experience. But, you know, we also have those that come through and maybe they're in an abusive situation and they've never really looked at it and recognized it for what it is until they say it out loud to somebody else and they go, that doesn't sound good, does it?
That's not how that's supposed to be.
And we're not invested in any way other than we want to care for them. So there's no hook. It's not like we're going to do this for you, but we want you to do something in return.
Right.
So when we sit and say, you know what, you're special and you have innate worth and value and you are worthy of being treated with respect.
Right.
And it's not because I'm your mom, and it's not because I'm your Sunday school teacher, and it's not because I'm your school counselor. I'm telling you this because it's the truth.
Right.
And it is the truth when those people say it, but I hate to say it. I mean, when you're growing up, your parents can say something, and I see this with my kids. I can say something to them 100 times, and they can go and someone at school say the exact same thing, use the same verbiage, and they come back and they've had an epiphany.
I know.
Yes.
And it's important to have different voices.
Right, and especially when they hit those junior high years, there's not a thing. I mean, they turn into people we don't even know. And I mean, it just happens, and then nothing you say. I mean, you know, it's wonderful when they're like 5 and mommy knows everything, and then they turn 13 and you want to just...
Well, now let me ask you this. Let me ask you this too, Tracy. I know you counsel the folks that come through, and then a lot of them will go full term with the baby and keep it. But let's say someone they're not wanting to keep it, they can't keep it, whatever the case may be, economically, whatever. Then you in turn will place the baby in an adoption, or how does that work?
Well, what we do is we work with other affiliations. We specialize in options counseling and in pregnancy help, but we have other referrals. And so if an adoption plan is something that they are willing to consider and want to talk about, then we give referrals, and we can actually help facilitate that. And we never do just one agency. We want to talk about multiple agencies. We never want them to feel like there's a monopoly on who they have to talk to. And we have some great agencies in the area. Bethany Christian Services, Catholic Charities out of Chattanooga have a wonderful program. Lifeline Children's Services out of Birmingham, Alabama, and many, many, many others. And so what we can do is we can talk with them, and also those different services can often offer different, meet different needs. Like maybe they want to remain in their home, they want to continue school, and that's fine. And there are agencies that say we can work with you, and then some of them say, you know, I don't want anybody at school to know. That's fine. We can find someone that will, where we can get you into a maternity home.
Oh, terrific.
You know, and a lot of girls that go through that process actually end up finishing their GED. A lot of them have a life plan by the time they leave, and they leave with intent, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to finish college. And actually, statistically, it's proven that those that choose in an unplanned pregnancy situation to place have a better chance of not living in poverty, a better chance of finishing their education, and they also are very good parents down the road because they have made a loving, selfless decision. And you know, the term that has always bothered me is people saying, give your baby up. That is not what you're doing. You're giving your baby a life. And it is a loving decision, and it's a decision that's hard, that comes with a lot of grief. And, you know, but we also have these wonderful things now called open adoptions, where you can place and actually still have relationship with that family and your birth child. And it's made known that you're the birth mother, but these are the parents, the adoptive parents. But you would be amazed at how many people want to love a child, but they also want to love the birth mother. They want to have a relationship with her.
Exactly.
That's just, I mean, that's a tearjerker right there. There's probably several movies I've seen like that. But no, I mean, it really is a wonderful program, and you can realize that, you know, if you make an impulsive and a non-educated decision on something just out of fear and anxiety and of what, you know, I'm going to do, then you haven't really dealt with the issue. And so when these young ladies, if they do go away or they do just go full term and they deliver, then they do have that time of reflection, and this is what I'm going to do, and of making plans beyond, you know, a decision I'm going to make just like this, and it's going to be
Yes.
over and done with and act like it never ever happened, you know. But when they do make those long-term, you know, to place, or, you know, or even to keep it, you know, even if
Yes.
those, you know, and sometimes, you know, you do even have the ones that are going to place that decide to keep. You just don't know, but at least
Right.
that's a process that they're going to go through to where they can, you know, they might make better decisions down the road.
Absolutely.
And I guess another thing is, if you're a young woman, a young teenager, and you find yourself pregnant, in most cases, if not all cases, you grow up in a hurry. So
Yes.
when they find that out, and then they go through the program that you guys offer, I guess they grow up fast to realize, look, I need to do this, that, or the other from this point on.
Many of them do. And
I hope they do.
Yes, not all, but
Right.
many. I hate to say it, but we do live in a society that at times allows us to live in a dream world, and cause, you know, an effect for many people are not a reality until they become adults and they start having to pay their own bills.
Right.
And I know that may sound bad, but that's the
No,
truth.
it is.
And in a society that has a tendency to enable a good bit, it's really hard to learn that your decisions today are going to affect the rest of your life, and they do. But what we have is often they start coming through the program, and you know, sometimes especially with young mothers and couples that are coming through, they're not thinking about what are we going to do in 7 months when we have diapers and formula and this, that, and the other. But as we begin to talk with them and mentor them, then those things start coming to the surface. We don't want to overwhelm them. We don't want to give them a checklist of, you've got to do this in 7 months.
Right.
And, you know, you need to be scared now. Instead, we want to work with them. And sometimes what that causes is, as they're going through, and maybe they're planning to carry and keep, in time they start recognizing, I don't know if we're ready for this.
Right.
And that is a hard decision to choose to place, but it's even a harder decision to choose to parent. And then after you've parented a period of time to realize you can't handle it. And I've counseled in those situations too. And it is very hard. I had a client that placed after her child was 5 months, and she and the family is very attached. But she made a loving, selfless decision because she recognized, I love my daughter so much that
I'm not.
I want to give her the best. And right now, I don't think I'm the one that can do that. And, you know, and I can remember looking at her and thinking, and I have at that point had 3 children, I was just thinking, you're so brave.
Right.
Really, you're brave. And it would have been great if she had made that decision earlier, but the fact that she was responsible enough to recognize that was admirable.
Sure,
And very
absolutely.
selfless.
And hopefully that child grows up knowing the sacrifice the
Yes.
mother did for that child, instead of thinking she didn't want me.
Right.
They understand why that had to happen.
You know, and that's something that we hear, and we do have to overcome in the counseling room, is you do hear the stories of, well, but I've watched movies on Lifetime, and they're always searching for their birth parents and mad because, and I've heard the statement, my parents didn't want me, they gave me up. If they didn't want you, they could have terminated the pregnancy.
Right, absolutely.
Instead, they loved you so much to give you life. And they wanted to give you the very best life.
Absolutely.
And it is adoption and placement is a loving, self-sacrificial decision. And I think that's something that more people are becoming aware of. It is, adoption now is getting a good name, and I'm sure y'all can remember over the past couple of decades, a lot of times every movie you watched about adoption was, you've had the child 3 years, then all of a sudden somebody comes up and tries to take the child back. Agencies have gotten very good making sure that everything legally is where it needs to be, and that is not an issue. And I think a lot of it too has to do with a lot of the counseling they get before they get to that point. By the time they go through us and they go through a adoption specialty counseling, they're informed and they know the decision. And you know, just as you said, there are those that make a plan, but then they still don't place. And what's wonderful with the agencies that we refer to is if you make a plan and you don't place, there's still no strings attached, because what they want is the best for our client and for their child. And we do believe parenting is a wonderful option. And so that being said, if you say, you know what, I've changed my mind, I can't do this, they're going to bless you. It's not that you owe money, you don't owe anything back. They want to make sure that the need's been met. Ultimately, maternity homes, adoption agencies, and pregnancy help centers, we are life-affirming organizations, and our job is to give everyone the best opportunity, including our client and the one that she's carrying in her womb.
Right.
And if in the end they choose to parent and that is what's best for them, we're happy for them, bless them, and want to make sure that if there's a need in the future that we can meet it.
Wow.
Well, real quick again, tell us about the fundraiser,
Right.
the date.
Okay. It is on April 17th at First Baptist Church,
Okay.
and the program begins at 7, followed by a dessert reception around 8 o'clock. And we will have staff, volunteers, and board members on site to answer questions and to just socialize. There's no admission, so bring people.
There you
Bring
go.
your
Right.
friends.
But bring your checkbook too. This
yes.
is a fundraiser.
Yes.
This is, we want donations. We're not playing around here.
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, last year our this fundraiser, which had been our banquet, was scheduled for April 28th.
Right. I
And
remember
so
that.
we did not meet our budgetary needs last year. We're really believing that we're going to be blessed this year. But again, we would love to have new donors or people that have never been aware of us and
Right.
don't know our mission that would come and find out. And I look at there's all kinds of donors. Someone might decide to become a volunteer. Someone might decide to become a church liaison and get their congregation involved. Someone may own a business. And say, this is something I care about. Put me on your newsletter and let me know. And I really do believe that there are those that have the means and are able to financially help us make a difference in this community.
Sure.
And I've heard saying my whole life that it takes a village
Right.
to raise a child. I really believe it often takes a village to save one.
Yes.
True.
It
does.
is. This is communal, and what we do affects every one of us. It affects us even on an economic level, to the point of emotional, and in just our society. We're all interconnected. If one person hurts, other people are going to feel it.
Well, we appreciate you being with us today, Tracy.
Thank you
And
so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank
and thank
you.
you for all that you guys do.
Oh, we love it.
Thank you. And
Yeah,
phone
and
number
you can
real
tell.
quick?
You can tell Tracy loves what she does.
Our office number is 479-5825.
Okay.
You can check us out on the web at www.newhopepcc.org.
Okay,
.org.
wonderful.
There you go.
Again, thank you for being with us.
You're welcome.
Tracy Shellhouse of the New Hope Pregnancy Center. We're going to be back with Ron Moore and some Bradley County history right after this. Stay tuned. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you for having me.
Discover great local programming right here on WTMB East Tennessee Television. Tune in weekday mornings at 6:30 a.m. for Tennessee Valley This Morning to find out what's going on in your local area. Watch East Tennessee Shopper with Joe and Kim Palo live every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Get caught up in all the latest sports action. Watch In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson. Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. with replays at midnight. All this and more on WTMB East Tennessee Television.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Ford, board certified in anti-aging medicine and pain management. Have you had recent decrease in energy, lack of sex drive, feel moody, grumpy, or sad? If so, you may have low testosterone and be a candidate for bioidentical hormone replacement. Listen to what two of my patients have to say.
Before I came to the Ford Clinic, I had to have a nap every day.
When I got off work, I'd lay around, really didn't want to do much and felt real lazy.
I've noticed since I had the testosterone implant that I can go a good 8 hours doing the things I enjoy doing.
I had it done, took about 25, 30 minutes, 5 months, and I'm doing good. My stomach, my muscles, they've completely changed. My fat level has dropped. Get to go out and run, exercise with my son. My muscles are just getting stronger.
If you'd like to change your life, please call me at Ford Center for Pain Management and Anti-Aging Medicine at 423-400-9115.
Very simple process, and it's well worth it.
I'm Byron Winters with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. Contact me for all of your business insurance needs. From general liability to workers' comp, commercial auto, and business umbrellas, Landmark Insurance has you covered.
Have you ever wished you'd seen a wonderful music presentation, listened to wonderful music about He's Alive? You've got that opportunity right here on WTNB starting this Sunday morning. Those air times are Sunday from 10:30 till noon, Sunday evening from 9:30 to 11 p.m., and then we're going to follow that up Monday and Tuesday evenings at 7:30 to 9 p.m. and Wednesday evening at 6 p.m.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley this morning. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday. Remember, rain today, 40% chance, so take your umbrella. Sounds like a broken record. We're now joined by Ron Moore, our Bradley County historian. And Ron is here today, as he is each and every Wednesday, to lay some history on us. What are we talking about?
Tell us.
Well, I started reading in a book the other day, and I got fascinated with it, and I sort of made some notes and said, well, I'll just talk about that. I had 4 or 5 other things. I said, no, I like this one better. So I sort of do that sometimes. I start on one, and I see something else, and I start doing that, or I hear something going on. But I want to talk about social organizations and secret organizations.
Oh, secrets.
Now, of course, everybody knows about Freemasonry.
Right.
That's an whole thing, and that's. But I want to talk about early in Bradley County. There have been some very interesting organizations in our community. Men like to gather for business purposes or protection or amusement. And the early organizations seem to be a little bit more serious than some of our today's organizations, and they're not bad. The Elks Lodge, the JC, the Rotary Club, and whatever in hell a Kiwanian is. I have a lot of Kiwana friends. I just wanted to say that.
Just had to say that.
Just wanted to say that. But in 1866, Bradley County founded the Patrons of Husbandry.
Okay.
I thought you'd get that reaction. Or better known as Grangers.
Okay.
This is a national organization that's still around today. Basically, it was for farmers, for to buy and sell their crops and how to grow things better and to compete. So there's no lodge buildings left in Tennessee of the Grangers, but it is still a national organization. It looks predominantly like it's all up north now, but we had one in 1860. One of the first organized. Probably the Masons were before that and the Oddfellows, but you know. Then we had the Knights of Jericho, formed in May 11th, 1872, at a meeting at the Sons of the Temperance Hall. They're still active today. They're a international organization of good Templars, is what it's called today.
Okay.
And basically they were temperance, basically don't drink, don't do bad things. And they had all the rituals, you know, the little things that hung around their neck and the pomp and circumstance, secret membership.
And they did it also.
The Grand Poopah.
The Grand Poopah. You had to be invited in. All these organizations like that. Right. And and then 1875, the Cleveland Lodge number 157 of the Knights of Honor was formed. And this was a beneficiary society. In other words, if you were a member, you took care of your other members' families. If you got sick and if they needed a doctor, you would give them money, and then while they were gone to the doctor, there'd be food left on their porch, sort of a secret thing, but everybody knew it was coming from them. But there's several of those type organizations. But that they weren't. But the other
and the
one,
men were in charge of that?
The men, well, women weren't really involved. You know, they couldn't vote for a long time.
Well, I understand that, but I know that those guys didn't get that food on their own and cook that food on their own and get it to
they
the
told
porch.
the women what to do.
They told them they did.
I didn't say I agreed with it. I was saying that's what happened. Okay.
I'm just surprised they could organize.
Then I'm not sure if I'm ever going to say this right, but it's the Knights of Pythia. Pythias.
Okay.
Pythia.
Pythias.
Pythias.
Formed a lodge February 3rd, 1872 in the Oddfellows Hall. And some other people who were Knights of
Pythias.
Right. Were William Jennings Bryant, who had done the Scopes Monkey Trial.
Right.
Bob Jones, who started Bob Jones College, which is now Lee University.
Right.
FDR. And Louis Armstrong were members of this organization. They were a very religious organization, a secret one though. There's one building left in Tennessee that is actually one of these lodges. It's in Franklin, Tennessee. It's the Carlisle's building. It's on the National Register of Historical Places. If you haven't been to Franklin, Tennessee, they got more historical signs in downtown than we have all over Bradley County.
No kidding.
It's unbelievable. They have done an unbelievable job in Franklin, Tennessee, even with the tremendous growth. The old part where the big battles were taking place, unbelievable there. But they have one of these.
Really good shopping there.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, yes. nothing my size, unfortunately. when it's expensive clothes, they're not big men, things. So.
Big men.
Then I like this one. The Star Commandery, number 3 of the United Order of the Golden Cross.
Oh.
Now,
Okay.
I am
like
very
that one.
fortunate to have seen a man brought to me. They were digging a foundation of a house, and they dug up a metal box, which had all the original papers that formed the Golden Order of the Cross.
No
all the Grand Poobah
Right, all
ribbons,
that stuff.
the history. The ledger book of who paid dues, who the members were, and we've actually found their graves here at in Fort Hill. So it's pretty interesting. The guy has it now. That organization today merged with the Woodmen of the World.
Okay.
They were part temperance, and the other was an insurance. Well, I call it insurance. Woodmen of the World is basically like Oddfellows. They get together, but they also the beneficiary. They take care of people, and you actually paid in, and that created an insurance, and they took care of families.
Okay.
Like the Woodmen of the World today. So. Semi-insurance company, basically what it is. So, but that's the Star Commandery, number 3 of the United Order of the Golden Cross. I just like to say that.
Yeah.
That sounds good. It
Yeah.
sounds very important.
You have to say the Star Commandery, number
That's
3
right.
Right.
of the United Order of the Golden Cross.
And you wonder how they come up with these names
They're
for
very
these
serious
organizations.
about
They
it.
are.
They were very serious. Like saying they were very private. Most of them. Most people didn't know you were a member. They were some of these organizations, but the Golden Order had big parties all the way up. Parties or picnics.
Picnics.
Yeah,
Picnics.
not parties, but picnic on the grounds at some church, all the way into 1947 here. So that ran a long time. Not a lot of people know about it. If you look in the history books, you only find maybe one chapter of it. So it was hard to find. Then we had the Cleveland Division, number 78 of the Sons of Temperance of the state of Tennessee. It was formed December 3rd, 1867. Of course, the Sons of Temperance says just what it is. They were against the drink.
Okay.
And you'll see that some of the things that we do today in politics and the rest of the world comes right back.
Right.
This has been going on for years and years, and probably will. The argument about alcohol and what the young lady talked about before that, all that continues to be an argument. And through these organizations, there was the Cleveland Council of the United Friends of the Temperance,
Okay.
which were not the Sons of the Temperance, but they were the United Council. Now, I
Not to
have
be
no idea
confused.
what the difference is, but they all did the same thing.
Right.
Now, the first women
Here we go.
organization in Cleveland was formed in 1876.
Daughters
Uh-huh.
of the
There we
Confederate.
No,
No.
the Sewing Circle.
Oh,
Same thing.
It wasn't secretive, though.
of course
okay.
not. But
see,
they
Kim,
probably,
this
they
was actually-
probably just
The
made.
men had organizations with names this big. You had the sewing circle.
I know. Well, Kim wasn't in the sewing
Well,
circle.
no,
Kim,
that's true.
Kim, you sew your own
Well, you had
buttons.
to sew the clothes that the men give away.
Okay.
1878,
Gave away.
the,
Thank you, honey.
Cleveland formed the Greenback Party, which is part of the National Greenback Party of Bradley County. This grew out of the labor unrest in 1876 due to the lack of paper money.
All right. Okay.
That's why it's called the Greenback. Greenback, Tennessee is named after this organization. They actually ran candidates here in Bradley County, and they won. The sheriff, George Hayes, county clerk, James Rucker, and the county trustee, A.J. White.
Okay.
And then from Bradley County, Cleveland attorney R.M. Mitchell, Mitchell's the M there, Edwards, was a candidate for governor of Tennessee twice from the Greenback Party from Cleveland, Tennessee.
Okay.
He did not win.
No.
So, okay. They believed the government control of money was good. They also promoted a federal income tax. So this was a mixture of the 1%ers or the 99ers and the Tea Party. Okay. Some Tea Party, some 99ers. So, of course, we had the Masonic Lodge, we had Oddfellows, Woodmen of the World, and there's a lot more that we can't mention or time or anything. But we also, there was Ku Klux Klan here. The earliest recognition of the Ku Klux Klan, it's hard to say, 1921, they showed up at a church in their hoods and things and donated $100 to a cause for a family. Right. Not all their activities were evil. They're best known for their evil. And in this area here, very little Ku Klux Klan activity ever. There was presence here, but that's why family
We got to go.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off, but we got to go. But don't forget to listen to Ron and Debbie Moore every Saturday, 10 to noon on Whoop Radio 99.9 Old Town Cleveland. Listen to it this Saturday. Thank you for being with us, Ron.
I enjoyed it.
Tracy Shellhouse, we want to thank, and Jim Burleson. We'll see you next.